this video, we're going to take a look at Unit 2 Drawing 6 and go over a couple of the issues that people commonly have here. One being controlling the length of this line to where it first bends down or up on the bottom. Second, the internal feature where we have this combination of two arcs to develop that teardrop shape. And third is coming back to the pair of angles. Sometimes we have a constraint issue where these lines might have a perpendicular constraint, like with this angle and this one, for example. And if you try to move one, it wants to move the other and simply can't be done. So let's move over to the sketch and look at those items. The first one being controlling the length of this line to where the first line angles down or up on the bottom. Everyone commonly sees the 3.5-inch dimension on the drawing, and they take for granted that is dimensioning the circle to circle distance. But actually that dimension, if you look back, that 3.5-inch dimension is really also passing through the coincident point of these two lines. So we have to assume then that 3.5 is controlling both, this line and the center to center distance. So therefore, if it's controlling two different things, there's a pretty good chance you're going to want to dimension each feature separately in this drawing. You can see in the bottom as well, I have the 3.5 controlling this pair of circles and the line length on the very bottom. If you don't have your corners filleted yet, you can simply dimension from the end as well. So from the far left to this point, and place that dimension up above. In this example would be 4.06 would control that length if your fillet is not in. Next, people often run into a problem where if we turn on our constraints, F8, they might accidentally have a perpendicular constraint, like with this line and the one down here below. If you'd extend them out, you could see maybe why that would happen. It's close to 90, but they're not quite. So if you accidentally do have that on there, remember that's this symbol here. It would be shown right next to this line, and whatever line it is perpendicular to, you can right-click and delete that issue, and therefore this line should have the freedom to move again, or whatever line it happens to have that perpendicular constraint on. That's just one common issue people do have if they're trying to change these dimensions to be 45 and it's just not working. So F8, take a look at your constraints, might be the case. And last in this video, the internal features, where we have the combo of two radiuses or two arcs to make up that half teardrop shape on the top and the bottom. And that is done by first trying to figure out where those arc center points go. And if we look back at the drawing, what I do is I imagine this line extending out to hit the center point, and then I just drew a line up a little bit and then to the right again to create this line, or to be an extension of this one. And by adding that little step in my sketch like this, that helps me define this corner is the center point for two of the circles, and this corner is the center point for two of the other circles. So let's go ahead and draw that out. There we go. And remember, circles default to a diameter dimension. So if it says 0.5 on the paper, you're going to have to make this 1. Enter. I'll draw the other one as well. 1, enter. And I'll also draw one of the big circles. And on the paper it says 1.7 radius, so we'll double it here to a 3.4 diameter, enter. And I'm going to stop here with the drawing because it's starting to get cluttered. Go to the trim command, and I know I don't need any circle or arc in there, so cut that out. And I'm after this shape up here, so I really don't need any of this lower stuff either. Let's trim it all the way back around. And don't be afraid to zoom in, it makes it a lot easier. So as the line comes over, I want the gradual arc to be kept, so I don't need this sharp one. and then it's the sharp one on this half, so I can get rid of that there, and also that lower circle. And there's our half a teardrop shape, big arc and a little arc. And then this would also now disappear. So I trim that out, and I'm going to trim this line, but I get a warning box. It says it has a dimension on there, so you need to remove the dimension before you perform the operation, which is delete for us. So I'm going to go in there, I'll highlight by left clicking on that 3, delete it. Now I can just highlight and delete that line, but always put those dimensions right back in. Otherwise things can move on you. And just check mark. That's good. Top half is done. Circle command. Our big circle we drew was out of the bottom at first. So this time the big circle comes from the other side. 3.4 diameter. Trim command. Don't need it in there. And clean up this top right away as well. Sorry. Trim, trim, trim. And I don't need this part of the circle in that. And if I follow my cursor along with the drawing, I know I have line, gradual arc, so I don't need the sharp. And it's gradual to the very bottom, and then it's sharp up is what I keep. So I'm going to move over here and delete that. And then start deleting lines I don't need. I'll try to delete it, but it says you can't because there's a dimension. So I escape to cancel any tools, highlight the 3-inch dimension, delete it, highlight the line, delete it, put the 3-inch dimension right back in. Click on that line. Oh, sorry, let's delete the line. And then we click on the line and the point and put that 3-inch dimension right back in so it can't move around on us. And we should be good now. Some people have asked me, they don't like having all these extra extension lines for circles. You can delete the dimensions, but put them right back in immediately as a radius dimension. It does look a little nicer. Make sure you get delete, just highlight and delete. Dimension, just click on the arc to reference, click to place, done. Highlight, delete, dimension tool, click on the arc, click to place, done. Seems like we're missing this one, so let's just put it back in to make sure it stays in place. And then I would go through and add a couple of fillets yet to this drawing if needed, but whatever else you need to do to finish your drawing. But that is how we take care of some of the common issues with this particular drawing. Good luck.